Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel once again. Today I'm very excited to introduce a very unique idea by international master Ilja Sirosh. Hopefully he will be a regular contributor to my website. This is his second database. The first one was dedicated to Caro Exchange. And now we're gonna talk about Giuoco Piano 7-move knight bd2. So before we get to the material and we understand what is 7-move knight bd2, I would like to remind you guys. So it's always, it would be nice if you like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course hit notification button in order to be one of the first to know this idea and maybe score the points, be the first to score the points of the board, blitz games online, and so on. And it really works this way nowadays. I get a lot of feedback so that some of my customers, they win very quickly games until people can watch the videos or download my PGNs. Now, of course, it's truly appreciated. Any feedback, please leave your comments, ask questions. I don't think throughout all my videos I have any comment unanswered. So I'm trying to reply to everyone once I see the notification. Now, it goes without saying that the material fully proved and checked. I have full responsibility for this material, so there is no difference in quality between my files and files from my contributors. I think it's time to get to the material. So what we are talking about, so Giuoco Piano, or Italian 7-move knight bd2. So probably everyone knows what is Giuoco Piano nowadays. So bishop c4, the move that has gotten like really popular, and like over bishop b5, Ruy Lopez, that was like by far the top choice some 20 years ago. Nowadays, I think white players are a little bit feared of Berlin. So that's the reason that, one of the reasons that Italian / Giuoco Piano became so popular. And of course, the main move that the majority, still the majority, even though like knight f6 slowly becomes trendy as well, but bishop c5 still black top choice, and well-known response c3, knight f6, and of course the majority of the games on the high level you'll find white choosing slow Italian here with move d3, but the file, our file will go with move d4. So d4, of course, very well known and probably you would think very established theory. After ed4, cd4, bishop b4, we got to the basically initial position, and Ilja recommendation here, move knight bd2. By the way, I forgot to mention one thing which is very important. Ilja has a very active X account, Twitter account, so where you can find daily puzzles, very interesting ideas, middle game ideas, sometimes just studies, publishing every day. Highly recommended. This is actually how I found him, because he was really publishing some very unique opening stuff. So I said, like, why not to contribute to my site if you have so many ideas? So this is how our collaboration started. Now, move knight bd2, that's our starting position. Now, I would like to mention really briefly that you probably, most of you, familiar with the move bishop d2, but for many years it's considered to be absolutely harmless. Now, no problem for black to play this position, ed5, knight d5. I don't think there are any issues, although there are probably thousands of games. And my personal choice would be knight e4, so because I think like black, if black wants to play for win, at least here in the main line we get, even though we trade queens, but it's somewhat an imbalanced pawn structure, and if I would recommend someone kind of like to avoid drawish lines, I would highly recommend this variation, this line for black, and I don't think there is, it's not promising at all. It's very harmless and not promising for white, so there is nothing, like really nothing to offer in this position. So this is one thing. So bishop d2, well established. Now there is a tricky move knight c3, but you don't see this on the very high level. I remember I was getting new students and coaches recommended tricky line which starts knight takes e4, castle, bishop c3, d5, but with a little bit of study, with a little bit of work, black easily in great shape after bishop f6, rook e1, knight e7, rook takes e4, d6, and you just need to study a little bit, and it's a very good chances for black actually to take over in this line. How about knight bd2? So that's a big question, and so what is happening here? There are, you know, guys, I'm not gonna lie and tell you, wow, this is the line which kills Giuoco Piano bishop c5. Of course not. I mean, you have enough YouTube channels that would promise you this, but you know, nowadays the majority of good openings for black, they equalizing. This opening is not an exception. There are definitely ways for black to equalize, not one, but they require serious work. And what is important, the positions still remain playable. And since this file is very, very detailed, you'll still have ideas. You can handle middle game in much better way than your opponent, because you will be familiar with the plans, ideas, and the novelties. So in this position, there will be 3 different chapters. So my contributors have they have a little bit different style of publication. I usually publish everything in one file, and by the way, maybe I'm gonna change this, but in this case, Ilja divided this into 3 separate chapters, and I find it's very, very logical, very convenient. So first of all, we're gonna talk about deviations from the main lines, but I mean, white is doing extremely well. First of all, d6. D6 move runs into immediate d5, so due to the threat queen a4, black is forced, so knight a7 loses to queen a4, so that's obviously the point. Black has to take bishop d2, give away his dark square bishop. After queen takes d2, knight e7, castle, rook e1. It's excellent position for white, very promising, space advantage, bishop pair, and obviously clearly better chances. Now, castle is a better move, but still it's very soft, and white will enjoy his play after d5, knight e7, castle. Now let's say d6, and we just gaining space with a3 before, or we get a bishop pair. Once again, it's really very advantageous positions for white. Now we are moving to the main lines, and so we are starting here with this position with the move d5. So that's number one. Most probably you're gonna face knight takes e4, but d5 is a very serious move. After e5 we have the main move knight d5, but I would like also to highlight interesting alternative, which is queen e7 check with very exciting play. And most probably black is doing not so bad here, almost equalizing, but still after bishop, queen a4 check, knight a5, queen a4 check, bishop d7 is the best move, bishop b5. Black has still to prove his sufficient compensation, and overall it's a pretty safe position, and I like white chances here. It's not so easy. It's required a very serious work for black in order to fully equalize. Now, going back to the main line, knight d5, castle is not the only move for black, but definitely the main one. After bishop d2, castle, queen b3, knight a7, we just enjoy this type of play where, yes, we have isolani, but we have a bishop pair, and we have a space advantage, and overall it seems like white has a better chances. Now, this is bishop d2, another move in this position, which is also pretty solid, bishop e6. In this case, we play a3. Now, the point here that, for instance, after bishop e7, we really get a lot of space with b4, bishop b2, and we have a lot of different ideas here. It could be knight e5, knight e4, rook e1, rook c1, a lot of active moves, even though objectively maybe black is fine, but it's super playable position, which is nowadays, it's quite a lot to get a very playable position. for white in the opening, especially this kind of opening. And yeah, so we're going back to the line where we discussed like some kind of deviations from the main move castle. Now, so main move castle, and here white has tried different ways. So Ilja decided to pick up like I think the most challenging move knight e4 in this position. Now, guys, very important that the analysis are very, very detailed. There will be, you know, obviously coverage of all existing games, but you will take also, like, there will be material that you will be far, far ahead of existing theory. For example, here there is a coverage of 6 different moves. Now, when you see this position, obviously the first question, what happens with bishop g4, and now white choice a3, bishop e7, bishop e3. So this position so far has been played only in 3 games. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Dubov played in one of them. So extremely detailed coverage. Even there are only 3 games, so here will be coverage of 8 different moves, and it looks like very complicated middle game. So that's it was, even for me, it was a little bit surprising, because I thought it just should be very, very easy equality, and there is a reason knight bd2 is not that popular. Of course there are games, but so here it looks like very interesting direction, very rich middle game position. Just give you one exemplary line here: rook e8, h3, bishop h5, of course bishop f3, queen f3 is very favorable, rook c1, a new move, knight takes e3, f3, so we don't mind to change the pawn structure this way. Bishop h4, the best choice, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, after bishop f8, knight g5, white already has a very powerful initiative. For instance, after rook takes e3, queen c2, there are really serious issues for black. Well, obviously, white is winning after bishop g6, bishop f7. So that's one of the lines. And after bishop h4, we have queen c2, bishop g6, bishop d3. And with a very interesting middle game where I like white. I think white has better chances. Black has to be very, very accurate in this position, and it's not so easy to handle this. Now, so that's about d5, considered to be a very reliable move for black. I remember it was my recommendation during my work with 1GM, but you know, there are a lot of ideas for white. It's very playable. Obviously, this file, if you decide to download PGN, the file will give you a lot of feedback here, and you're supposed to be far ahead of existing theory. Now, let's move to the main line, and the main line, of course, in this position where black accepts the challenge, captures on a4. We have to continue d5. Now, there are 3 different directions here. 2 captures on d2 and knight a7. So let's talk about bishop d2. Now, in this specific situation, we take with bishop. Now, very important to understand the difference here. Now, if he takes knight d2, queen d2, we will be covering this position through different move orders, so very important to remember. And if knight e7 is played, so we're gonna play bishop c1, maintaining the bishop pair. So this is one of the major ideas for us in this variation. After pawn sacrifice, maintain the bishop pair. Obviously, d5 pawn promises very nice space advantage, and this is how we handle this position. Now, going back, so we discussed bishop d2. Now, after knight d2, we will play bishop d2, queen d2, knight e7. What we can offer here. So a relatively new idea. Like I know I have studied this position for many years, and in the beginning it was d6, but it's pretty harmless. Black easily equalizes, but so the new idea, queenside castle, very exciting. So, and after d6, h4, so we are trying to generate attack on the king side. Now, again, very detailed coverage. So here I see 5 moves, but just to give you some kind of like idea what can happen if black not sure what to do, doesn't know. We continue h5. Obviously, h6 might be very annoying. Therefore, h6 is clearly black first choice. And there are two. So first, we start with the move rook g1. And now black has to play bishop g4. You'll find coverage of 3 alternatives that all of them works and promise white a very easy play. So now it goes without saying that the idea g4. So like for instance f5. Now just positionally very bad after rook e1, 94, 96 happening. So bishop g4. Bishop g4 actually, Ilja suggests 2 ideas. You can choose like one game you can play one idea, another game you can play another idea. So so there is rook h4 and knight h4. But I want to give you one example with knight h4. It's actually a famous game between Caruana and Nakamura, where Fabiano obviously knew what he's doing and Naka was not really well prepared. So how this game finished? So it was b5, bishop b3, and Hikaru played c5. Seems like very nice, why not? dc6 would open c-file, but there is a problem. After f3, bishop takes h5, g4, bishop g6, knight f5. White has a very powerful initiative. Now, the game finished pretty quickly. After f6, Fabiano played bishop c2, king f7, and knight g7 basically led to the decisive advantage already. So that was a blitz game, but you know, it's one of those tournaments played with a lot of money on chess.com. So that was some event. I'm not sure even like some rapid championship or whatever. So it just shows the difficulty of black facing this kind of aggressive idea in the opening when you are not familiar with the theory. So, and that's one of the points. It's you know, guys, without any questions, it's a very very strong surprising weapon without any questions. On the other hand, I don't think there is a line which just automatically like closes this direction and the game is over. We always have playable position. We just keep going with like equal play if black is well prepared, let's say, in some way. But hopefully with this file you just will be way better prepared than your opponent in any case, because it goes very very deep in details, and Ilja is doing incredible work of diving into different nuances and ideas in this direction. So guys, if you are interested, you know, you can download a very detailed PGN file on my website, ask-avrukh.com. If not, you got some unique idea in this video, and now with the help of all tools available for chess players, you can develop your own lines, and you already have some directions so that it will be much easier. You don't need to make these choices in the positions where there are several options. So you have a directions, you can develop your own line. Either way, I think you would greatly benefit from playing this interesting line and hopefully score a lot of points. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this special video, very unique idea, and I'll see you soon with the new releases. Thanks a lot for watching, and a lot of success if you decide to play this variation.